Okay. Well, I think we on live.
We live.
Yeah, we live. See, he never tell no more. So
I don't never tell nobody to do
So
it.
gonna get on live, boo. I'll meet you on
Let's roll. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, soon to be LinkedIn.
We
But
on
for
all
now,
of them. But for
But now,
So put all your devices up and we ready.
and yesterday we was really banging because we was on all social media platforms plus
I love you.
doing a live radio broadcast. So I love that. What's up, everybody? Those of you that are coming on, please, please, please do your boy a favor. Pretty please with Shook on top. Like, share, and invite. Lolly Dolly. Everybody. Like, share, and invite. Lolly Dolly. Everybody. Prophet Ramonepreston and RP Enterprises with the entire sophisticated squad. We're in the building today. It's a beautiful day in the Buckhead community, the Beverly Hills of the South. Oh yeah, the financial district of the ATL. You better believe it. We right here live. We got to appreciate that. We got to give God glory for that, because if it had not been for the Lord, on our side, we would have been on the other side. Think about that. If it had not been for the Lord on our side, we would have been on the other side. We wouldn't have been in Buckhead. So we got to appreciate the Lord for that. Sure enough, on side of the highway, in a plaza on a dirt road, with a garage door that you got to pull up. Samantha, how you doing, girl? Love you. Siobhan, what's up? Team Trustworthy, Team Touch of Glory. All of you that are coming on, please like, please share, please invite. Not just family members and friends. You should be inviting Lolly Dolly. Everybody. Yes, you must. And for those of you that are not on YouTube, we're streaming live right now on YouTube. We're streaming live right now on Periscope. We're streaming live right now on Facebook. And upon the approval, tighten up LinkedIn. We got over 6,000 followers. So we doing something on LinkedIn. Upon approval, we'll be able to stream live simultaneously as well. But today, I want to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about finances, business, and biblical economics. Seems to be a very taboo topic that church folks, God's people, don't want to talk about. But I ain't the one. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to bring it right to the surface. I'm going to sit it right on our laps so that we can have a heightened awareness of how important it is for us to take all this revelation God has given to us and complement it with intelligence, with information that we can daily put to practice. So for those of you that are coming on, thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for inviting your family members and friends. Everybody that's been asking you to borrow money, you should tag them right now. Everybody that's trying to hold a couple dollars, you should tag them right now. Everybody that's talking about they need something, you should be tagging them right now. See, when we start holding people accountable for the things that they refuse to learn, which means the things that they refuse to do, when we start holding ourselves and people accountable, we're going to see some change and transformation. We're going to see some of those needles moving in their lives. And so as a prophet, as a prophetic entrepreneur, business owner, biblical wealth builder, I assume a spiritual responsibility. I assume a moral responsibility. And I definitely assume a fiduciary responsibility to educate my people so that you'll know exactly what you need to do to get to your prophesied place. And so if you got anybody that's in your circle that's broke, they should be on this live. If If you got anybody in your circle that's going through financially, that's entrepreneurial in nature, they have products and services that they ain't really able to sell and push and make money on. If they got businesses that are not generating any top line revenue, if they got ministries that don't have sponsors and donors and a solid support system, if they have investment aspirations and ambitions and they are not really able to navigate to those vehicles of investment, these are the conversations that they need to be a part of. This is the ecosystem that they need to be around. And as a matter of fact, for those of you who fit any of the details of the criteria that I just mentioned, if you ain't got that blueprint, daughter, they need to text right now, huh?
Right now, yeah. Ready.
My PA, personal assistant, daughter, she's ready. All you have to do is text the words, I'm ready.
For real, for real.
For real, for real. I'm ready. What'd you say, cameraman?
Right now.
Cameraman, content creator, Moan say, right now. You can text the words, I'm ready, to 404
Ready.
478 7213. I repeat, text the words, I'm ready,
Put it in the comments.
to 404 478 7213. Just in case you missed the memo, let me inform you of the memo, or perhaps you forgot the memo. I'll remind you of this memo. Every Monday and Tuesday, we host free business and financial webinars via Zoom. These are online webinars that we host for free, that are full of discussions and opportunities for Q&A that are directly centered around business and finances. And so I want you to start marking your calendars. If you're not getting the emails from us, if you're not getting the text messages, feel free to reach out to me so that we can add your email and your text message to our database. You can actually send it to us via email. Valicia, you might want to put your email on there. If you're not getting our emails, I want you to email your information to Valicia.
No, Dad.
Valicia. We ghetto, Valicia.
Valicia.
Everybody from the hood, we shorten the words. So instead of us saying we're getting ready to go, we finna go. We shorten everything. So your name is Valicia. So in the hood, it's Valicia. We shorten everything to get to the end quick. Yeah, the hood got to get it right. Samantha says, on Facebook that is, she says webinars that are so informative. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Samantha. So every Monday, every Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m., I host free business and financial webinars. For those of you that have family members and friends that might not even be on social media, they might not even be comfortable on these social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, whether it's Periscope, LinkedIn, or IG, you can feel free to invite them to join you and the rest of us via Zoom webinar, so that they can be a part of the discussion and the Q&A. We answer questions about business, about ministry, about holding companies, about investments, about wealth building, about financial literacy, all things biblical economics. So this past Monday and Tuesday, both of our webinars were centered around being a business, doing business, as well as how you and I can strategically create economic certainty in uncertain times. For those of you that may not know, you are a business. You are a business. Even if you don't own a business, you are a business. Even if you own a business outside of you, guess what? You still are a business. And what makes you a business is the sum total of all of the talents, all of the skill sets, all of the gifts, all of the capabilities that God has given to you. according to Luke chapter 19, verse 13, to be exact, Jesus gives a parable. And in the parable, he talks about a nobleman, which the nobleman is a type and shadow of Jesus Christ. And this nobleman actually gives, Mon, can you set me up over here for, what is it, IG? This nobleman, ladies and gentlemen, gives these servants that he has talents. Some translations use different words to describe these talents, but nevertheless, this nobleman, who is the type and shadow of Jesus Christ, he gives these servants talents, which suggests that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through in life, there are specific talents, skills, gifts, capabilities that Jesus, the nobleman, has actually given to you. He's given those things to you. And now it's your spiritual, your moral, and your fiducial responsibility to take those talents, those skills, those gifts, those capabilities, and package them in the form of products and services so that you can introduce them to the market. I hope I'm making sense, because it sounds so vague with what I'm saying, but it's a game changer for so many people. Just think about all the talents that you have. What things are you just good at? Think about all the skills that you have. What abilities have you developed? Think about all the gifts that you have. What are those charismas that God has given to you? What are those spiritual attributes that God has given to you? As a matter of fact, you might need to get you a pen, a paper, or some other device outside of what you're watching me on. You actually might need to take a few minutes today and write down all your talents, all your skills, all your gifts, all your capabilities. Like when I say capabilities, think about that. Some of your capabilities could just be you have this unusual capability of tolerating pain, of tolerating stress, of tolerating drama. You might just be more patient than other people. Think about that. Patience is a capability. That's an extraordinary capability. So you need to write down all your talents. Hey, Lula, how you doing? Blessings to you. You need to write down all your talents. And when I say talents, I'm talking about what are those things that you just good at. You just know you got the juice when it comes to that. You got the sauce. You got the sauce when it comes to that. You need to write down all your skill sets. What abilities do you actually have? Can you type good? Do you just communicate well? Do you paint? Do you draw? Do you know how to put things together? What gifts do you have? What spiritual attributes that make you you? What capabilities do you have? You need to write all of them down. I don't care if it's 2 or 22. You need to write them down, because you need to become more acquainted with, more connected to the talents, the skills, the gifts, and the capabilities that God has given to you. Now, this is how you're going to become a business. Because a lot of people trying to do business and they have not even become a business. How you going to do something you ain't become? That was for free. Don't let that go over your head. What's up, IG? I say, how you going to do something you have not yet become? If you're going to do business and be successful at doing business, you have to become a business. Now, this is very important for those of you that are still in the workforce, your W-2 employees, or if you've never really owned a successful business, ministry, or organization. You got to transition out of that mindset and become the very thing you at some point want to be successful at doing. And this is how you're going to become a business. You're going to take all your talents, all your skills, all your gifts, all of your capabilities. You're going to write them down. You're going to become more familiar with it. You're going to start identifying with how good you actually are with some of these things. And then, here's the key. You're going to take them all, bring them all together, bring all those things together, and you're going to package them in the form of a product and or in the form of a service so that it makes sense to the people you introduce it to. So let's say if you have talents, skills, gifts, and capabilities, and collectively it makes up about 8 or 9 different things, then you've got to figure out strategically, how do you take those 8 or 9 things and convert them into one product? How do you take those 8 or 9 things and convert them into one service? Now, it may be a product, it may be a service, it may be both, but you've got to figure out how to strategically convert all those things into products and services, because they're going to make more sense in the form of a product and a service. And then once you do that, guess what? You're operating as a business. This is before you get an EIN. This is before you get an LLC. This is before you get a corporation. This is before you get a fictitious name. This is before you get a website. This is before you get a logo. This is before you get business cards. This is before you get t-shirts. This is before you get all this stuff that makes no money, that generates no revenue, because you're taking the asset of what you have in you, and you're bringing it to the surface, and you're packaging it in the form of a product and service. And guess what? Once you do that, you're operating as a business now. And now it makes it easier for you to go into the marketplace and introduce it. Think about that. Samantha say, that's good. Mm-hmm. Come on with it. Mm-hmm. I know what I'm saying is right because I've done it. And guess what? When you introduce it to the market, that means you're going to take that product and service, and here's an easy way to introduce it to the market. Create a landing page and send that link to everybody in your phone, and put a message with it. And the message could be something like this. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Mm-hmm. I just wanted you to take a look at my new product, my new service that I'm introducing to the market. I'm running a special. This is a pilot program. This is an introductory offer, and I just wanted to see what you think about it. Just give me some feedback. Mm-hmm. That's how you introduce it to the market. Mm. Because if you can't introduce it to the people that's in your phone, you can't introduce it to a stranger. Some of y'all right now got 700 people in your phone, your address book, and only 3 of them believe in you. You just wasting space on your phone. It ain't one number I got in my phone that I am unable to send a text message to about what I'm doing in ministry or business, because I don't even want them kind of people in my phone. I don't even need people like that to have access to me, that they can push one number and have me on speed dial, and I'm afraid to introduce to them a new product and service that I have, whether they buy it or not, whether they respond to me or not. I still need the freedom and the flexibility to do it. So when you think about being a business and doing business, that's how you become a business, and that's how you actually do business. You look at Luke chapter 19:13, and you implement what Jesus implemented in Luke 19:13 through this parable of the nobleman and his servants. You take the talents that God has given to you. What's up, homeboy, doughboy? You take the skill sets that God has given to you. You take the gifts that God has given to you. You take the capabilities that God has given to you, and you don't just have them floating around in your head. Oh, I'm good at this. I'm good at that. Well, I'm a little bit okay here, and I'm pretty savvy in that. No, you bring all those things together, and you work like a business to create a product and or a service with those talents, with those skills, with those gifts, with those capabilities. And once they become products and services, guess what you're going to do? You're going to introduce them to the market. And the market begins with mama them, cuz, sis, bruh, the homies, the home girls, everybody that's in your address book, in your phone, every email you got. That's called your power base. That's your power base. You're going to reach out to them, And then guess what? You're going to come on platforms like social media and you're going to start educating us on what you're extremely good at. And you're going to associate that conversation of education to that product and service that you put together that makes up things that you can actually do in your sleep. Facts. Straight facts. No caps. So think about that. Think about that. So if you ever wanted to know how to become a business and how to actually do business, it's really not about you forming an LLC. It's really not about you getting a Secretary of State piece of paper. It's not about you getting an EIN. It's not about you getting a fictitious name. It's not about you going to City Hall and get an occupational certificate. It's not about you getting a 501c3. It's actually about you taking all of the talents that God has given to you, just the things that you're good at. It's about you taking the skills, the things that you have developed and you've worked on and you're continuing to grow and mature in. It's about you taking those gifts, those spiritual attributes that God has given to you. It's about you taking those capabilities, just things that you have space and room to deal with and tolerate and operate by. And you package all of them in the form of products and services so that they make sense to you, which means they're going to make sense to us when you introduce them to us. And then once you put them in the form of a product and service, you immediately introduce them to the market. Not just throwing something out on Facebook saying, hey guys, I want y'all to take a look. Nobody's paying attention to it because most people that see it on Facebook don't even have a relationship with you. So you get 3 likes and then you get 1 person to watch the video. You get 3 people to comment after a week or 2. That's not doing business. That's not being a business. You tap into your power base. Cuz, mama them, sisters, brothers, kids, uncles and aunties and people in your neighborhood, your neighbors and your co-workers if you're still working on a job. People that you used to work with. These are people that in the business world would be considered your power base. You tap into that power base. That's what you have to do. You tap into that power base, and then once you tap into that power base, you're able to just let them know, hey, if you can't do nothing but just take a look at the product and service that I want to introduce to the market and give me some feedback on it. Tell me what you think about it. Just their feedback alone will go a long way. But if you're not doing that, you're missing golden opportunities to, number 1, be a business, and 1A, not even number 2, 1A, you're missing a golden opportunity to do business. So that's the basis of how you become a business and how you do business. All right. Now, I want to move into this other part of the conversation today about you creating economic certainty in uncertain times. How many of y'all have heard some of the erroneous, like just ridiculous, just stupid propaganda that is being perpetuated all around the world right now, which suggests that we are in uncertain times? How many of y'all have heard a commercial or you've heard someone say that? I get their point, but I don't get it. If you understand what I'm saying. I get it, but I don't get it. So now we hear commercials that say and suggest, well, you know, we're in uncertain times. You hear people who have influence, social media experts and gurus and moguls, they start saying things like, well, you know, we're in uncertain times. No, bruh, no, sis. You might be in uncertain times, but I'm not in uncertain times. Prophet Ramon, how can you say we're not in uncertain times? Well, first of all, the Bible, in both the Old and New Testament of the Bible, does not suggest that when certain times come in history, that we become victims of those times, whether they're good times, bad times. uncertain times, certain times, we're not victims to any time because we're not limited to things that take place and transpire at certain times, okay? We understand, according to Ecclesiastes 3:1, that to everything there is a season and a time. But just because there's a season and a time for every purpose under the sun doesn't mean we have to be victimized and casualties by those seasons and times. So number one, we're not in uncertain times. Romans 8:28 says, for we know, what do we know? We know that all things work together for our good. But notice the first part of Romans 8:28, for we know. So how can you be uncertain and know at the same time? Think about that. If you just read the first clause of Romans 8:28 that says, for we know, how can you know and not know at the same time? Either you know or you don't know. Come on, daughter, Tourette over here on IG. For we know. So you are already put in a position as a believer to know certain things that everybody else around you in culture, in society, don't know. For we know, and then Paul goes on to explain what exactly we do know. We know that all things are working together for our good. Now, we might not know the details of all the things, but at least we know those things are working together for our good, which means I go from being uncertain or not knowing to being certain because I do know. I might not know how it's all going to work together. I might not know the day that it's going to come together. I might not know who's going to be a part of bringing it together, but I do know that it's working together for my good. And all of you right now that's listening to me, your issue is not a spiritual issue in these times. Your issue is not even a social issue in these times. Most of us have economic issues because we do not have the certainty of the biblical economic opportunities that God has afforded to us, which is why prophets like me are crying loud, sparing not. Prophets like me are sounding the alarm. And it's not just an alarm to have a 3-day revival. It's not just an alarm for you to pray in the Holy Ghost. It's not just an alarm for you to go to church more. It's not just an alarm for you to continue to quote scriptures that you never see the manifestation of in your life. It's an alarm for you to take the revelation that God has given to you that gives you the know, that gives you the certainty, and complement that revelation with intelligence, with information that you can put to practice on a daily basis. So for those of you that are unemployed, you are on a fixed income, you are W-2 employees, all of the above, you are a 1099 contractor, you're freelancers, you're network marketers, you're business owners, you're ministry leaders, you're organizational executives, wherever you are on the broadest spectrum of any of those economic elements, here's what I want you to know. I want you to know that all things that you see going on right now, socially, culturally, economically, spiritually, are working together for your good. But I also want you to know that there is a strategic way that you can create certainty in these uncertain times. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of your time in these times to give you too much information, but I'll give you enough that you can work with because, again, every Monday and Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m., I host free business and financial webinars where you and anyone that you're connected to or anyone that you invite can come and join me and my squad and other entrepreneurs and go-getters while we share very vital information with regard to biblical economics. That's financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business ownership, ministry leadership, investments, and wealth building. And I take time during these free webinars to answer any questions that you may have, whether it's about your products and services, whether it's about your ministry, your business, whether it's about how you have your business structured, whether it's about your finances or certain elements of your economic life that you want to flesh out and figure out. We're using these Mondays and Tuesdays at 7 o'clock p.m. to not just educate you for free, but to also answer your questions, to give you an advantage in what exactly you're doing in your real life, not just in your spiritual life, but in your real life economically. Also, for those of you that have not had an opportunity to be introduced to our business and financial blueprints, we have 6 business and financial blueprints available. All of the information for our business and financial blueprints are probably in a link on this live, on this video. You can see it in the comments. We have links in these videos. We have links in the description in these videos. We also have a number that you can text us directly if you want to know more about our business and financial blueprints. Feel free to reach out to us, because we are helping so many of God's people take the revelation that He's given to them and complement that revelation with real intelligence and information, so that they can see the revelation come to pass in their economic lives. And so here are the 3 things I want to give to you that I believe you need to do if you're going to create economic certainty. Because most of you that are listening to me, you don't have spiritual uncertainty. You got revelation. You got a relationship with God. You got 66 books of the Bible. You ain't got no spiritual problem. And most of you that's listening to me, you really don't even have a social problem. And what I mean by social problem, you don't have a problem connecting with people, interacting with people. You're anointed. You're gifted. You're talented. You're skilled. You have capabilities that are out of this world. As a believer, you do. So if you don't have a spiritual problem or a social problem, what kind of problem do you have? I'm going to tell you what kind of problem you have. You have an economic problem, because you do not have certain levels of intelligence and information economically to complement the revelation that God has given you spiritually. So if you're saying right now to yourself, I have a financial problem. No, you don't. You got an information problem. I got a credit problem. No, you don't. You got an information problem. I got a debt problem. No, you don't. You got an information problem. I got a product and service problem. I can't sell it. No, you don't. You have an information problem. And you don't have a revelation problem, because you are operating in a level of revelation with what you're doing now, because God gave it to you. God gave you the idea for the book. He gave you the idea for the business. He gave you the name of the business or the ministry. He gave you the idea of the product and service. So God done already gave you revelation. He showed you that you're going to be a millionaire, the first millionaire in your family. He showed you you're going to be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. He's already showed you that He's going to give you houses you didn't build, vineyards you didn't plant. So obviously you don't have a revelation problem, and you don't have a social issue, because you talk to people, you communicate to people, you share your revelation, dreams and desires and ambitions and aspirations with people. You have an economic problem. So here are the 3 things you need if you're going to create economic certainty in these uncertain times. Number 1, you need to get in the know. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to invite somebody to listen to this part of the discussion today. First thing I need to create economic certainty in uncertain times, like in the middle of this Rona, like in the midst of what you see going on around you, here's the first thing you need. The first thing you need is to get in the know. That's what you need. You need to get in the know. That's the first thing you need to do. What do you mean get in the know? You need to learn something. You need to educate yourself, and not just on what you are good at. You need to educate yourself on all things economics. During our live webinar last night, I was sharing with everyone how your economic house needs to be viewed like your residential house. So think about where you live right now. You got rooms where you live. You got appliances where you live. You got furniture where you live. You got silverware and glassware and crystals, and you've got towels and blankets and sheets, and you got clothes. You've got all these different moving parts that make up your house where you live. Well, if you look at your economic house very similar to your residential house, then you will quickly understand how important it is for you to be very aware of every piece or every moving part or every element of your economic house. So when you walk in your residential house, it's not like there's a couch in your house that you don't know about. When you walk in your residential house, do you mean to tell me there's a toothbrush you use that you don't know is yours? Like, if anything changes in your house right now, you know it when you get in there. How many of y'all done walked in your place and you looked around, you like, hold up, who been here? If it was just something that was moved that you forgot about. You know why? Because you are very aware. In other words, you are in the know. You know what's in your house and you know who's in your house. If you go to your kitchen drawer where your silverware is and you pull it out and you look in there and you see some spoons and knives and forks that you never saw, or you see some cups that you never saw, you calling whoever lived with you. Did you put this in there? If you go to your refrigerator and look in there and you see something, food that don't belong in there, or if you walk in the door and you smell food that doesn't smell like the food that you cooked or you eat on a regular basis, you're going to be very aware of that. Why? Because when it comes to your residential house, you are always in the know. So in order for you to create economic certainty, you've got to be in the know. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to get in the know. You need to know about everything that makes up your economic house. You need to know about your products, your services. You need to know about your competition. You need to know about your market, that not just the industry you're in. You need to know about the market you're in. I've seen this so many times, especially with people in real estate. They go to some webinar, some seminar, they follow some guru, they take these real estate courses, and what they fail to realize is all they're learning is industry standards. They're learning industry standards. And some of you have learned industry standards in the industry you're a part of. The problem is those industry standards don't work in your market. They don't work with your demographic of people. They don't work in the community you predominantly reach. They don't work with your client base. They don't work with your audience. The wording and the terminology and the language is totally different. And here you're trying to stuff something that doesn't work down the hearts and the ears and the throats of people who don't want it because they don't understand it, because you don't understand it. Or in other words, you do not have the knowledge of your market. So in order to get in the know economically, you have to know about all financial aspects of your economic house. You need to know more about banking. You need to know more about credit. You need to know more about debt. You need to know more about taxes. You need to know more about making exchanges in these areas, not just from an industry level, but also from a market level. Some of you that are on a job right now, if you're working a job, you actually need to know more about what's going on in that job than just your position. You need to know more about that. That might mean you need to come in early, stay a little late, just to walk around with the supervisor, just to see if a manager on the other side of the building needs some extra help. You might need to volunteer an hour a week in another department just to get in the know. You need to get in the know, and you need to know more than just what you know. All right. For those of you that have been W-2 employees and are still W-2 employees, or perhaps you have retirement accounts from a financial perspective, you need to call those financial institutions. You need to speak to the administrators that are over your account and see, especially now in the midst of this corona pandemic, you need to see if what the laws are that have just passed apply to your account. If I'm not mistaken, and I don't know enough, but to give you the advice that your administrator will give you, because I don't have any of those kind of accounts. I'm an entrepreneur. I create my own retirement and my own financial basis for my legacy and for my wealth building. But nevertheless, I know enough to know that they have passed some law in the midst of this coronavirus that has given those of you that have like 401ks and other retirement accounts an opportunity to take out up to $100,000, if I'm not mistaken, tax-free for at least 3 years before you would have a tax liability and penalty attached to it. And so you might have 401k money that's just sitting there that you can actually use tax-free and penalty-free for up to 3 years that can be used to get your business off the ground. Your business might need working capital. You might be able to pay some debts off, some bills off, get your credit score up, get some debts out of the way so that you can have that financial wiggle room to do some things that you want to do. And guess what? Even if you don't use it, just call the administrator so that you can at least know how much you got and what is available to you. You just want to know that. I'm one of those people, I just want to know. I really do. Hey, Laurencia, how you doing, girl? Love you over here on Facebook. Good to see you. Blessings to you. So the first thing you need to do in order to create economic certainty in uncertain times is you need to get in the know. Number two, you need to do the math. You need to do the math. A lot of people have knowledge about finances. A lot of people have knowledge about business. A lot of people have knowledge about biblical economics. But here's the problem. They have not converted that knowledge or that intelligence into mathematics. So when you think of $1 million, don't just think of the word one and the word million and the word dollars. You've got to think of the numerical, mathematical formula of $1 million, like a dollar sign, a one, a comma, 3 zeros, a comma, and 3 more zeros. So until you're able to convert the financial intelligence that you have, until you're able to convert the business intelligence that you have, until you're able to convert the biblical economic intelligence that you have into mathematics, you might be in the know, but you have not yet done the math. You have to do the math. Any decision that you want to make that's economic in nature should be made after you've done the math. Even the Bible says that we have a responsibility to count up the costs. Who builds a house and don't count up the costs? Even Jesus said, if you build a house and you hadn't counted up the costs, in the process of building, you're going to end up coming short, only to realize that if you did the right math, if you made the accurate calculations, you wouldn't have been short on certain resources or certain opportunities or certain finances or certain favor if you would have done the math and made those calculations before you started building. So the second thing you need to do in order to create economic certainty in uncertain times is you need to do the math. There is not a business owner or an entrepreneur I know on earth that's going to be successful if they do not do the math, more specifically on their income, their expenses, and their cash flow. And if you're not doing it, you better have a whole lot of money to pay people who can do it. Because there are a lot of people I know that don't do the math, but they can afford to pay somebody else to do the math. So at least they had money mathematically to pay somebody to do the math. But if you ain't got money and you don't want to do the math, you already failing. Like I'm serious. Like when I consult people, talk to people, minister to people, whatever word you want to use, if it's economic in nature in that conversation, and that person either has a financial problem personally or professionally or as a business owner, an entrepreneur, if they're not doing the math, that's their problem. That's their problem. You have to do the math. And the easiest way for those of you that are entrepreneurs, you're go-getters, you independent contractors, you network marketers, or you're just the financiers of your family. You're responsible to pay the bills. You assume a fiduciary responsibility for your family. You got to at least do the math on your income and expenses and your cash flow. You have to be able to know that. You got to know all the money that's coming in. You got to know all the money that's going out, and you got to know what's left, even if you are negative cash flow. Because if you're negative cash flow, a lot of times you don't want to do the math because you don't want to see how far short you actually are. But just knowing that does a whole lot for someone, because you're at least able to know what you need to do moving forward to get that number up because you've done the math. The third thing you need to do in order to create economic certainty in uncertain times is you need to implement and execute. You need to implement and execute. So let's assume you're in the know. You start learning, you start gaining knowledge and information and intelligence on everything that lives under the roof of your economic house. You ain't just good at cooking. You ain't just good at designing. You ain't just good at landscape or painting or marketing or just these certain products and services that you're good at. You're good at finances. You're good at financial planning for yourself and for your business. You're good at knowing enough about taxes to know how to operate financially and fiscally on a responsible level. You know about banking. You have good banking relationships. You know about credit. You know about debt. You know enough to be able to hold your economic house together. You get in the know. Let's assume you take that knowledge and you convert all that knowledge into math. Now you're doing the math. You know the numbers behind every decision you make. You know the numbers behind all your products and services, how much it costs to create it, how much it costs to market it and advertise it, how much it costs to sell it. You know about all the math surrounding your business or all the math that's associated to your economic house. The third thing you need to do is implement and execute. Implementing means you got to get started. Don't wait until 2021. It's a whole lot of people right now, they done wrote off 2020. We got 40-something days left in this year, and people like, oh, I can't wait till 2020 over with. Are you crazy? Is you goofy? For real? You ain't got time to wait. What? You got 40-something days. You know how much God and you can get done in 40-something days? It's a whole lot that can get done in the next 40-something days. Here's the thing, if you start now. Well, I'm going to just wait till tax time. You know how many people out here saying that to me? Prophet Ramon, I'll buy one of them blueprints tax time. You're going to wait you're going to wait 4 months. You're going to wait 4 months to do what you should be trying to figure out a way to do now. You know how far ahead you could be in 4 months? I mean, the blueprint might be red prints by tax time. We might turn them to purple products. Who's to say it's even going to be blue? And it's with anything in your life. You have to implement and execute. Implementing is about getting started. Executing is about staying committed. And some of you need to make that decision today. I really do hope. Of course, I hope it's with me. But if it's not with me, it needs to be with somebody. Because if you're having financial problems, if you're having money problems, if you're having problems selling your products and services, if you're having problems getting your business, your church, your ministry, your organization off the ground and moving forward, I'm telling you, hear me, you do not have a money problem. You do not have a product or service problem or a business problem. You have an information problem. You have not gotten enough of the correct information and education and training to complement what you know in your spirit God wants to do through your financial life, through your products and services, through your business, your ministry, and or your organization. And so for those of you who have not made the decision, I'm talking about you haven't got started yet, because all this stuff that I'm talking about right now, even though I goof off a little bit and I go on my little rants, at the end of the day, I live what I'm talking about. I have been a full-time entrepreneur for the past 18 years. And I thank God that I have never had to go back into the workforce. So it's something that I did right, because I haven't done anything immoral. I haven't done anything illegal. I have assumed my spiritual, my moral, and my fiduciary responsibility for myself, for my family, for my organization, for my community, and for the people that I serve. So it's obviously something that I know that's working for me, because I'm continuing to succeed personally in my finances, professionally in my career, and even corporately in my organization. That's why we're here right now in the beautiful Buckhead community. What is it called, daughter? The Beverly Hills of the South, the financial district of Atlanta. So if you haven't made that decision, outside of the goofing off, outside of the ranting, I really want you to consider connecting with a prophet who has an anointing and an assignment to help bring economic deliverance to the people of God. I want you to be educated. I want you to be empowered. I want you to be taught and trained from a biblical economic perspective. I don't want you to just embrace and gravitate towards and absorb information and intelligence that is centered around economics, but is not biblical based, because that can have a negative impact in your life. So I want you to reach out to me today. We're here in the office. We about to go get us some lunch out here in these Buckhead streets. But while we're here, I want to challenge you to do these three things that I know you need to create economic certainty in uncertain times. And that is, I want to challenge you to get in the know. I want to challenge you to do the math, and I want to challenge you to implement and execute. In other words, get started and stay committed. And our business blueprints are providing that opportunity for you to do all of the above and much more, because our business blueprints are all online, virtual, video-based training programs, hundreds of lessons, courses, and modules with dozens and dozens of resources, links, forms, documents that are downloadable, that you can have access to see me virtually via technology on a daily basis, on a hourly basis, on a minute-to-minute, second-by-second basis. However often you need to see me and hear me to provide that economic mentoring to you, that financial, that entrepreneurial, that business and investment mentoring. I'm your personal mentor through a phone. I'm your personal mentor through a tablet, through a desktop, through a MacBook, through a laptop. I want you to make that connection today. All you have to do is text "I'm ready" to 404-478-7213, 404-478-7213. I am offering a free business consultation. These free business consultations have changed and transformed so many lives. So when you reach out to me via text messaging, "I'm ready" to 404-478-7213. Once we connect you to the blueprint that best fits your criteria, we'll give you a consultation to make sure that we connect you to the business blueprint that fits your criteria. We have 6 signature blueprints. We have a personal financial freedom blueprint. This is specifically for those of you who want to get your personal finances in order. We have a church and nonprofit blueprint for those of you that are called to start churches or nonprofit organizations. We have a network marketers business blueprint for those of you that are in the network marketing industry, and or if you are 1099 independent contractors or freelancers. We have a real estate investors blueprint for those of you who have a desire and the dream to be residential or commercial real estate investors. And we also have a general entrepreneur's blueprint. Those are the 5 signature blueprints we have. And our 6th blueprint is a 5-in-1 ultimate mogul blueprint. So we take all 5 of those signature blueprints, and we put them in one for an ultimate mogul blueprint. And that would be for those of you who have dreams and desires to lead organizational enterprises. I'm the ultimate mogul example because I lead an organizational enterprise made up of a holding company, divisions and subsidiaries on a for-profit level, and a church charter, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has other divisions and departments and ministries and outreaches under its umbrella. And so for those of you that want to make that connection to the economic arm and have that personal mentor via your phone on a minute-to-minute, second-by-second, hour-by-hour, day-by-day, week-by-week basis, reach out to me right now. Can they reach out to us now?
I'm calling somebody now.
Okay, call them. Somebody's reaching out right now. She's calling them right now. You better text, "I'm ready," to 404-478-7213. This is a game changer for so many people, and we want to make this game-changing opportunity available for you. And when we plug you into that blueprint, once you process your payment for the blueprint, we're going to schedule a one-on-one exclusive business consultation. Okay, this is going to be me consulting you to help you figure out what you need to do to start, to structure, to scale your business, to help you package or repurpose your products and services. We're going to utilize this free business consultation to benefit you and to give you the value that you need. So whatever it is that you need during this business consultation, you can ask whatever questions you want to ask. You can get whatever help, advice, mentoring, consulting that you need. The consulting that I provide for free for those of you that are purchasing these blueprints, this consulting is professional consulting. My wife and I have been consultants in the real estate arena for years, and we've consulted developers, homeowners associations. We've consulted different companies that work as subcontractors on a lot of these commercial properties that we work with. We've worked with property management companies, with investment groups. We've worked with individual investors, and of course we work with clients who purchase and or sell their residential and commercial properties. And now we have an entire company built around our consulting profession called the RP Consulting Group. And through the RP Consulting Group, we're doing amazing things, not just for people in real estate, but also for those that are in other industries and markets. And so when you purchase a business blueprint, guess what? You get me, the president and CEO of RP Consulting Group. You get me for free for this 15-minute business consultation. So make sure you like, you share, invite family members and friends to join you, me, and all of us every Monday and every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Just stay in touch with us through social media. Join our email newsletter. Make sure that we have your number to put you on our text message list so that you can continue to connect with us. For those of you that are not on YouTube, if you ain't on YouTube, please visit youtube.com/Ramonepreston, or just go to YouTube and type in Ramonepreston. I need you to, what is it, Ramon? Click the bell and subscribe. We have a goal to reach 1,000 subscribers. How many link in bio? How many subscribers do we have, Ramon? How many subscribers do we have on YouTube?
No Instagram.
Angelica on Facebook, I love you. All of you on Instagram, I love y'all. Thank you for joining us today. I love you too, Angie. Appreciate you. Sharita, love you. We have 934 subscribers. 934 subscribers. That means we need 67 more. No, is it? How many more we need? 66 more?
All right, ma'am, Gina.
We have 934.
What numbers that?
Yeah. I need to do the math, huh? We have 934. Yeah, we need 66 more. We need 66 more subscribers. So all of you, please run over to YouTube, type in Ramonepreston, click the bell and subscribe, because we want to hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube page. If you have not followed us on LinkedIn, we have over 6,000 followers on LinkedIn, and we get some extraordinary feedback and responses and interaction on LinkedIn with over 6,000 followers. Follow us on LinkedIn. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. My personal page, you're able to follow us. I know we're past 5,000 personal friends, but we have over 1,000 followers on our personal Facebook page. Follow RP Consulting Group on Facebook and IG. Follow our newly launched Next Level Network of churches, ministries, and entrepreneurs. Shakespeare, love too. How are you? Blessings to you. We're close to 1,000. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Have an amazing Wednesday. And please, if you have not purchased your blueprint, text "I'm ready" to 404-478-7213.